everyone, it's Cam from Arsenal Theory here, just with a quick review of the Arsenal Monaco game yesterday. I managed to kind of follow the game through text, YouTube, Twitter, radio. I was having to kind of see what was going on through pretty much every form of social media out there. But I've watched the highlights, I've seen the goals, and saw quite a bit of saw the whole second half really, in the last kind of 20 minutes of the first half. Um, and the game obviously finished 1-1. I just want to give my thoughts on what I saw. Um, the team, is not the team that's going to start the first game away. Oh, sorry, at home to Nottingham Forest. I don't think it's going to be the team that starts on Sunday in the Charity Shield. I certainly hope not, because that team yesterday is not ready. And partly I think it's because they're still kind of getting to know each other really. So, Declan Rice made his debut at the Emirates. You had Smith Rowe and Vieira starting, and as much as I love Smith Rowe, he's not going to start against Forest, and he's not going to start against City, or Vieira for that matter. So yeah, it was kind of a bit of a mixed bag in terms of the lineup, and I think it showed in the result at least. It was 1-1 on the day, and obviously Arsenal won it on the penalties, but I'll come up to the penalty shootout a bit later on. So I think going forward, we looked like we had a bit of a purpose. Nketiah, I thought, had a very good game, which he needs to have because Jesus is obviously injured for a few weeks. I mean, what's the definition of a few? I mean, this is how pathetic I am. I was driving back from seeing my dad thinking, well, what's a few? When does a few turn into several? I don't know. If I had 3 apples, is that a few apples? If I had 5 apples, is that several? I don't know. For me, a few is 3. So I think anything more than 3 weeks, it's not a few, it's several. So hopefully it is just kind of 3 weeks. So yeah, good opportunity for Nketiah. But defensively, I thought we're looking a bit Civ-like at the moment. Monaco were kind of getting through us quite a bit, and it seems to struggle with just these straight balls through. And that was happening towards the end of last season. It's happened during pre-season now. And if you're an Oppo team kind of looking at us, that's probably going to be one of your tactics, really, is to just kind of slam it through over the top and see if our defenders misjudge the bounce or something. So a bit disappointing how kind of flimsy we were looking through the middle. I think that will change as the season goes on, but also as the kind of team settles down, because the team in terms of its personnel is a bit all over the shop at the moment. There was no Zinchenko, no Odegaard starting, and they're two of the main kind of controllers. And so if you didn't have them, obviously Xhaka's gone, who I think was another kind of controller in that team. So they've all gone, and Declan Rice is still obviously getting used to the situation. And luckily, we've still got Thomas Partey, though rumours Juventus are coming back in for him again. So there's no way we can let him go at the moment, not without some kind of replacement lined up. But anyway, back to the game. Defensive error, Monaco take the lead, and this was just when I turned on, managed to catch on the game, was when Nketiah equalised just before half time. From what I saw, the most impressive player I saw in the I got the last sort of 20 minutes of the first half was Smith Rowe to me. But online, he's been getting quite a few pelters. So I don't think it was just my bias. Obviously, I love the player, but he seemed like he had purpose, he had drive. He wasn't getting picked out. He was making some lovely runs, opening himself up for 1-2s, but he wasn't getting it for whatever reason. So a bit disappointing there. But I thought he had a really, really good game. And the second half, the changes came in. Timber came off. I thought he did all right. I don't think he's going to start ahead of Ben White straight away. Maybe he might start at left back if Zinchenko's not ready in time for the first game of the season, which I'm not sure he will be, because he's not had any pre-season because he's just been injured the whole time. So he's probably well. You got Tierney as well though, so maybe he'll go with Tierney. Yeah, I don't see Ben. I don't see. I'm not seeing enough to go. All right, yeah, you're starting ahead of Ben White. Put it that way. Um, Ramsdale, I thought looks solid considering the week that he's had. With all the Raya rumours, didn't seem to have affected him in any way at all. So that was good to see. But we just look a bit disjointed, not quite connected properly. And I did actually think that Saliba actually hasn't played that much football for since March. I was on holiday. I was in Cornwall when we had that bloody Europa League game, and he came off and he didn't play. He hasn't played again until we had a pre-season the other day. So in like 4 or 5 months, he hadn't really played hardly any football. So I think we may be underestimating how quickly it's going to take him to get back into the swing of things. He's not looked exactly like his normal self, but that's fine. It will come as he has more minutes. Um, so the game finished 1-1. We had a couple of chances. Trossard really should have done better. He was playing through with a lovely through ball by Jorginho, and he took it onto his left foot, hit the goalie's chest, came back out, and he tried to cross it through. It's a shame he could have played in Nketiah instead of shooting the first time, and Nketiah would have pretty much had an empty net to score into. But he was a bit selfish. He did look very sharp when he came on, though. I will say that he did look he looked very tasty. So I fully expect Trossard to be starting in the Community Shield and against Forest as well. So yeah, a good kind of performance from him in like 20 minutes that he had. But the game finished 1-1, and it went to another penalty shootout. So we managed to turn it around this time and score all our pens. Shout outs to especially to Jorginho and Kai Havertz, who both scored delicious penalties. Um, I don't know if I could take watching Jorginho take a penalty for Arsenal though, like a game with something on it, because the way he does his run up, that hop, skip, and a jump, just as he does that jump, that's when my heart will give out. If he's doing that for us in the Champions League semi-final or something, ugh, I think I'd have to just look away. Very nerve-wracking the way he takes it. Ramsdale saved from Minamita, which was interesting because I was convinced he was going to score, the ex-Liverpool player, and really strong hands he showed actually because it was a very very powerful shot, and he kept his wrist strong, and I don't know if you guys have seen that meme. There's a meme that goes along online of a penalty shootout where the goalie saves it. Everyone he runs to his teammates. They're all congratulating him, and the ball bounces and it's got backspin on it and goes into the goal. And then the ref ends up giving the penalty, and they lose the penalty shootout, and the other team wins. It's quite funny online. I think Ramsdale's seen that because the ball hit him. It went right up into the air, and he just followed it, and he didn't run to his teammates. He didn't really celebrate or anything until it definitely cleared and wasn't going in. So nice to win the cup. You don't want to lose that at home. It's a bit of a downer, isn't it? But we're not really cooking at the moment. I feel like last season at this point, you felt like we were really in the groove. Like we were looking hot shit. Yeah, we were sharp. We were banging 4 or 5 goals in a game. Jesus was getting hat tricks. It was just it was immense, and it's not quite like that at the moment. One of the reasons though is that we don't have a settled team, and I think I'm hoping at least it's because Mikel's going, well, I'm not going to have much chance to experiment during the season, so I have to do it now. I have to see what happens when I put certain players in certain positions now, and then I'm not starting from scratch when I have to change things during the actual season. And then when we get to the business start of the season, in a couple of weeks, I'm fully convinced we're just going to see pretty much a similar team to we saw last year, except you'll have like Rice in there and maybe Havertz on the bench or something. So yeah, the I don't know if the players maybe might have had one eye on Sunday's game. It's a possibility. That's such a big game, such a big game because we need to beat them. We need to beat Man City. If we beat Man City, we can just say to ourselves, okay, we're capable of doing it. Everyone else can say, well, it was only the Community Shield, it doesn't matter. I think Liverpool beat them in the Community Shield last season, and look at the season they had. But still, Liverpool know they can beat Man City. Arsenal don't. We haven't beaten them for years. So it'd be a really, really good opportunity. Bad news from the game, obviously, is that Jesus was injured. I think that he had a procedure, wasn't injured during the game, had a procedure earlier on that day. And interestingly, Arteta said it doesn't really change anything regarding Balogun's position. So it's still looking like Balogun's going to be on the way out. And maybe this is the opportunity to get Havertz in up front. Because if anything happens to Eddie, what are we going to do? I mean, you could stick Trossard in there, and he has played there last season. And I think currently he's the choice. It's either him or Eddie. I suspect he's going to go with Eddie. I don't think he's going to go with Trossard up front in the Community Shield. But I think Martinelli might need to miss out. There's no way you can drop Trossard at the moment. It'd be really unfair. But that's what we want as Arsenal fans. And I think Pete on the Grove is a great channel and does a great Twitter account. He made the point that everyone talks about wanting strength and depth in your squad and 2 players for every position and ruthless and this and that until it happens to your favourite player. And we kind of saw that with the Ramsdale news that broke earlier this week. And I felt that with Smith Rowe, for example, and partly Balogun as well, where you're like, oh, this kind of sucks in a way because these are some of your favourite players, but they're not getting the opportunity or we're having to move them on. And I think as Arsenal fans, we're just not used to that, are we? We're not used to just seeing this level of competition in the squad. I mean, the way we've strengthened, Wenger would never have done that. Shout out to Arsene Wenger. Great new statue. Looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully I can get there soon and get a picture next to it. And he was at the game as well. So he used to manage Monaco, actually, yeah, so makes sense. But Wenger wouldn't have strengthened like that, especially in the latter years. He would have kept Ramsdale comfortable. He wouldn't have put pressure on Smith Rowe. Like, oh, if we go and buy this Trossard, that's going to kill Smith Rowe. That's what he would have said. And we'd have been stuck where we were. So, yeah, it's just you can't get too attached to players, basically, because it's going to end up biting you on the arse. But all in all, hey, it was nice to get the win and nice to win a penalty shootout as well. Did make me wonder again about Saka staying our penalty taker. I think he is going to stay our penalty taker. I just think, if there's a penalty to be scored in the last minute, who would I want taking it? It wouldn't be Saka. Even though he's taken last minute penalties and scored them. He has done that last season. But he has missed some now as well. So I would be more comfortable with Jorginho, Havertz or Odegaard taking it at the moment. But who knows? See what happens in training. But it was nice to get the win. Roll on Sunday. If we can beat Man City on Sunday, well, what a confidence boost! Just elevates the levels, and then we can go into the Forest game, and hopefully kind of smash them up really. But short video today. I'll be doing a preview. Excuse me. I'll be doing a preview coming up of the Man City game on Sunday. And there's just before I came online, there was just some tasty rumours. I didn't have too much time to kind of delve into them, but there's some tasty rumours coming out about Thomas Partey, Kudus as well, and a couple of other things. So maybe some stuff progressed with that. We'll see over the next couple of days. So see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.